Hi everyone, this is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. And my guest today is Martha Bodyfelt. Martha is a divorce coach, and she works with women who are going through a separation or a divorce to, deal with it as a little stress as possible and to get on with their lives. And one of the issues that I'd like to talk to her about today is dating after 50. So welcome, Martha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. And I gave a little sneak preview of what I'd like to talk to you about in this video because so many women in their 50s have done the separation. They've done the divorce. They're moving on with their lives or they're trying to. And one of the things about wanting a relationship with a man, wanting the intimacy, but not being ready to give up their independence and also not having the trust anymore. So I'm sure you have clients that come to you with these kinds of challenges all the time. So what do we do? What's the secret to successful dating after 50? After divorce?
Absolutely. And, I want to let you know, even as a younger divorcee, we still go through the same thing, that being hurt in a marriage and maybe being even more devastated in some rebound relationships, like when you're separating, can really, I don't want to say screw you up, but it does make you a little bit hesitant, and that's okay. But you shouldn't let that hesitancy, I would say, get in the way of A, having a good time, and B, just definitely moving on and figuring out what it is that you want with a partner for the rest of your life. So I actually have 4 different strategies or tactics that anybody, especially women, can use if they do decide that they want to divorce, or they want to divorce again.
They want to divorce after a divorce. No, well, that's in fact the problem. They don't want to do another divorce. So it's like, why bother with a relationship that's going to end in another? And don't forget, Martha, a lot of the women in our community are in their 60s and they have been divorced maybe twice.
Sure.
Or maybe in a couple of very serious relationships. And that does put you off a bit. But anyway,
Sure.
What are your steps? Because I'm sure you've got some answers.
Sure. Well, a couple of things. And I've heard that this one bit of advice I'm going to give out of the 4 is a little bit harsh, but it's deeply honest. I don't know necessarily if this is something that some more of the people that have been through this have dealt with, but I like to tell my clients if they want to date and they want to be vulnerable and open their hearts for the chance of another relationship, they have to ask themselves and be truthful with one question. And that is, are you completely okay with going the rest of your life just being by yourself, chilling with your family, chilling with your friends, and not necessarily having a partner? And if you can't answer truthfully yes to that question, you shouldn't be dating again. And let me explain. I'm not saying that everybody now just has to be a nun and go into solitude, but you need to get to a point, in order to date again and have a healthy relationship, you need to get to a point that you are okay being by yourself, that you're okay being independent, and that you can find that emotional and that spiritual fulfillment in just being comfortable with you and all the things that you have. And then once you have that and you say, okay, I'm fine, but you know what? Maybe I do want a partner. I don't need one, but maybe I do want to find someone who can go along with me on this. But when you're looking to date again, you should not be looking for someone who can fill some hole or some void that you have. Only you can do that. And so unless you can say to yourself, I'm okay, I don't need to have a partner, then you shouldn't be dating again.
Yeah.
And so
that's number one. And I really agree with you. I think when you're younger, sometimes you do look for people that fill a gap. I think that's part of the attraction. This opposites attract. And when you're younger, I think you do kind of sometimes choose a partner who is stronger in the areas that you are weak, because you're growing, you're learning. As you get older, I think, and then through a divorce, you've got to say, no, I'm okay with me. And I don't need anyone to be my other half. I just need a partner.
Absolutely. And once you're okay with being yourself and you're okay being independent, and you do decide to go in the dating pool again, women get so nervous. We think, oh, I need to look a certain way. I need to say the right things. I need to dress a certain way. And then when the guy's picking us up, we're like, oh, what if I say something stupid? But what you need to remember during the dating is it's going to feel weird. And that's okay. That means that we're human. That means that you're alive. And please remember that the guy or the woman or whoever you're going on a date with, they feel just as nervous and just as jittery as you do. And when it comes to dating and relationships, we're all faking it. Nobody knows what they're doing. And we're just trying to put the best foot forward and go from there. So it's okay to feel weird. It's okay to feel awkward. And I love to say, embrace the awkwardness and just go in with you know what, maybe I say something silly. Maybe I knocked the bottle of wine off the table. Not saying that hasn't happened before, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You're just, and everybody's nervous. And so just be okay with that.
And I think that from that, you can extend it to actually appearance as well. Before you actually go out on the date, a lot of women make the comment, men in my age group don't look after themselves. They look so old. And it's like, well, did you look in the mirror recently yourself? It's like, we have this illusion that we are young in our minds. Maybe we feel young inside, but we're all getting older, and our hair is getting gray, or our skin's a little wrinkly, and so I think you see that George Clooney effect. Like you want every man you get together with after your divorce to be perfect, and we're not. Like you said, we're flawed. We're not. We're not perfect. So okay,
that's okay.
Yeah, and it is okay.
And so I think that the third strategy, the third of the four is, and women, I implore women to remember, it doesn't matter if you're waiting on the guy's call. It doesn't matter if you're just answering the profile messages, if you're dating online. It doesn't matter if it's the second or third date. It is critical. Remember, you deserve to be treated like the queen that you are. And this goes, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're 17. It doesn't matter if you're 47. It doesn't matter if you're 67. You do not deserve to go on any dates with a jerk. If someone says that they're going to call you and they don't call you for another week, you're better than that. Your times, you don't deserve it. If someone accidentally forgets their wallet, and sometimes we know how men are, someone, if you're dating an older gentleman who's checking out the butt of someone who's young enough to be his granddaughter, you don't need that. No, don't put up with that. You need to be with a man who is because if you think dating is when everyone's putting their best foot forward, and if they're not treating you like the queen you are on the first or second date, it's not going to get any better.
I bet so many women are listening to you and thinking, why didn't I think of that when I was 30, 27 years old? And it's so true. But don't forget, it's just an aside, but a lot of women in their 60s today got married out of high school. Yep. And it was the thing to do. You just graduated from high school, you were 18, you got married. And so a lot of them had that, that experience of, not very, accurate first dates, and as they got married, they found there were abuse problems or drinking so you're right. You've got to follow your instincts, don't you? About being treated like a queen. That was great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And the best way, and I think a lot of times the women who allow themselves to be treated like crap are the ones who maybe they're unsure of themselves. Maybe they don't have the confidence in themselves. And so the only way to break that cycle is to work on yourself first. It goes back to that first bit of advice that you need to be okay with yourself. You need to love yourself, because if you love yourself, you're not going to put up with some joker's BS that if he expects you to, hey honey, why don't you pay for the whole meal? And it's like your first date. Yeah. What I like to say is, you have a lifetime to disappoint one another. Don't let that happen don't let somebody disappoint you on the first or second date. Exactly.
And because older women have a little less time on the planet, we actually need to make those decisions really quickly. Like, you actually can't, you have to just follow your, what is right. And I think, like you say, set a standard. But was there another thing you have discovered in your coaching?
Absolutely. And that kind of the fourth topic is, manage expectations, but also know what you want. And if you go in dating saying, you know what, I'm just getting to know people. I want to date a guy who's rugged, or I want to date someone who is more quiet than my ex-husband or my ex-husband or my ex-boyfriend, whoever. That's okay. Just go in with, I like to say, kind of having the curiosity of a child. Don't go in on your first date, oh my God, what if he doesn't call? Oh my God, what if I get my heart broken again? Take it easy. Dating's just about getting to know someone. getting a free meal out of it. I mean, I don't know, but just
just learning about someone new.
Yeah. Just don't put all this pressure on yourself.
It's really funny. We actually wrote an article about this, about dating after 60 does not have to be that serious. And I think you're right. We do put a lot of weight on, and then it puts weight on the person that we're spending time with as well. It just feels too heavy. So I think that's really good advice. But do you think, a question, actually, we interviewed a guy who's a dating coach, a guy called David Wygant. I don't know if you know David, but he's really, really cool man. He's in his maybe 40s, 50s, but we were talking about older men being wimps, like being a little afraid of older women. But we had this long dialogue. I'd love your opinion on this. Who should make the first move?
So it depends. If you're, if you're feeling it, girl, get on that. But I mean, it depends. I mean, the first move, I mean, it kind of goes back to being treated like a queen. If you want to be with a man who is going to be the one who's calling to ask for the second date and the third date, if you want the man to be the one deciding what the date's going to be, then communicate that with him. But if you're like, you know what, I don't have time for these games, I'm going to give him a call, just do whatever you're comfortable with. But the only thing I would caution is, if you're going to make the first move, don't let that be the opportunity for the man to be lazy. That think, oh, well, I don't have to initiate anything, she'll just do it all. If that's what you want, then that's fine. But remember, you want to be treated like a queen. And sometimes if you make the first move all the time, that's going to train that partner that they don't need to do anything for you.
That's a good angle. No, I've heard both sides of that discussion and both sides of that argument. And I think that is an important one, that it sets a tone for what may be misinterpreted. I mean, some guys might think it's kind of interesting that if you have to, having a coffee and it's like, I really found you interesting, can we get together for a drink? That's okay. But I think you have to be, like you said, cautious that it doesn't give a message that may backfire on you or not be consistent with what your vision as a queen might be.
Right. And just figure out what it is that you want. If you're just looking to have fun and you're not looking for someone who's serious relationship material, do what you want. But if you're at the point that, no, I want to date this person, I'm really interested in them, I might want to have a relationship with them, then communicate that. And it's good to always communicate with, even if it's someone on the first date or someone that you're going back and forth on the online profile with. Just ask what it is that they want and that they're interested in, what their outlook is.
When we're talking about divorce, I mean, as you're a divorce coach, I mean, do you think that dating after divorce, though, is any different than, well, that's a silly question because it is different, but, how do you sort of get your trust back? I mean, how do you feel confident about even engaging with a man?
Right. So it's this might not be the best, most hopeful answer, but it's definitely trial by error. That the first date or the first relationship that you have during your separation or during your divorce, it's probably going to be a disaster. And that's okay. That if he breaks your heart, it's probably going to impound the fact that your heart's already feeling broken from your divorce. Yeah. And so you have to almost kind of find your path. And for me, I'm always, okay, let's go in, let's make the mistakes, let's fail fast and then move on. But you really just need to be fearless about it. Yeah. And it's okay. And then again, even right after divorce and if you're just getting into the dating pool again, just manage your expectations. Yeah. Don't think that the person that you're going to date, the first person, the first boyfriend is going to be the Prince Charming who will save you.
Well, never do that. Yeah. Ever.
Amen to that.
But I think that it's really true. I think you've got to be a little fearless in life. And I mean, us older women, we've come from a generation where we were fairly bohemian and fairly experimental. And, we know how to be strong. And I think that we get beaten down a little bit over life. And like you said before, life is complicated and it can be hurtful. But I think you just have to go for it. And I will say, if you don't want to date, don't date. It doesn't matter. It's okay if you don't want to date after your divorce as well. Just have lots of girlfriends and people in your life that nurture you and give you hugs.
Absolutely. Or just get a dog.
There's dog, yes.
Plenty of dogs at shelters that need good homes. That's your unconditional love.
You have a dog, don't you?
I do have a dog. My ex-husband and I actually have joint custody of him.
But are you serious?
I do have Absolutely. Yuppie divorce.
Oh, that is so funny. You reminded me. Someone I know, I would say, is a friend who they weren't married, but they separated, and she got the cat, and he got the guinea pig. And this guinea pig is so much trouble. And it's like, she's got the cute little cuddly cat, and he's got the guinea pig. But it's life is unfair sometimes, I guess.
What are you gonna do? But yeah, you don't have to date. You don't have to date. Just divorce gives you an opportunity to fall in love with yourself. And that's basically the greatest love that you can have, is finding out what you want on your life journey. And so take time for yourself, and you don't need another person if you don't want it.
I love that. That's a really perfect ending to this conversation. But I would remind people too that it's only going to be on the article, but it's survivingyoursplit.com. And Martha's really great. She has a special offer where you can give her a call and she'll chat with you about your situation, no charge, and all the details are on the website. But I really love talking with you. It's been really refreshing. Number one, because you're such, from a different generation, but exactly the same, in my opinion, the same process of healing and discovery. And I'm really happy that we got to talk. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm happy to come on anytime.
Thank you.
If anybody has any questions, just let me know. I love to hear from my readers.
That's great. And you also do guest blogging for us as well. So you write some articles as well. Yep. So just keep your eyes up for Martha Bodyfelt. And I'm really glad you're on our team. And thank you so much for everything. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.